Okay, now we're going to do questions 11 and 12 from quiz 5B. Now, the first thing that you should be doing is they give us a table and they say the table below shows the number of students who joined the astronomy club at school from 1996 to 2003. So the first thing I do is I figure out that 0 represents 1996. So 1999 would be represented by 3, 2000 by 4, 2001 by 5, and 2003 by 7. Notice I just said if 96 is 0, 97 is 1, 98 is 2, etc. Okay? Then I plotted all of my points. And then I drew a line of fit. Now, you could have drawn, I drew my line like that, but we also could have drawn it by connecting the lowest point and the highest point, and then I could have used that point, which was 724. So if you had used, let's see, if you had used, you could have used 0, 8, 724. So we're going to do it again using those 2 points, okay? So we're going to use the points 0, 8, and 724, because if you had connected them on your graph as the lowest and the highest point, those would be your answers. So I find the slope, 24 minus 8 over 7 minus 0. 24 minus 8 is 16, 7 minus 0 is 7. So we get a slope of 16/7. Okay, so now I say y 0, 8, this is x, and this is y. So my y-intercept is obviously going to be 8. So y equals 16/7 x plus 8. And then the next question says, use the equation to predict a number of students in the year 2008. Well, in the year 2008, 2008 is when x equals 12. Okay? So I know that if 1996 is 0, to get to 2008, I have to add 12. So 2008 is when x equals 12. So y equals 16 over 7 times 12 over 1 plus 8. And 16 times 12, 192 plus 8, 192 divided by 7. So 7 goes into 192, 7 goes into 14 twice, 7 goes into 52 around 7. So 27 plus 8 is approximately 35 students. So if you get anywhere from, let's say 30 to 40 students, you would be correct. Okay? Now the next one gives us data, and you had to, for this one, you had to realize that weight was X and mileage was Y. You had to label this weight and this mileage. Then you had to figure out increments. My increments for X, I counted by 2/10. So 2/10, 4/10, 6/10, 8/10, 1. Because the weight goes from 1 to 3.1, okay? And mileage, I counted by 3s, and it went from 3 to 33. I forgot to point out that on the previous one, you should have labeled this number of students. I counted by 3s. and years since 1996. So labeling is important, and I apologize I did not go over labeling. Okay, so now, again, how you choose to draw your best fit line is up to you. I personally, the first time I did this, I listed points of 2.8 and 21 and 1.6 and 30. But now, if I do it again, and I start with the lowest and the highest, so let's go back here. If I go from here and here, now you see that's kind of out of the range, but we can do it, see what we got. But do you see where it's kind of not really, I think it should be a little bit higher. So our y-intercept would be a little different, although the slope is the same. But if you did do the lowest highest method, you would have used the point 3.116 and the point 132. And your slope would have been 32 minus 16 is 16. 1 minus 2.1, negative 2.1. So your slope would have been, let's just say, approximately 8. So if you had a slope of approximately 8, or you can see the first time I did it, I got a slope of negative 7.5x, that would be fine. Now, what you would then do is take your slope and say y minus 32 equals 8 times x minus 1. Y minus 32 equals 8x minus 8. Y equals 8x plus 24. Now, I obviously did something wrong there. Because you can see that a y-intercept of 24, would be way off. So, does everybody see what I did wrong? This is a negative 8. I did not do that on purpose, but do you see how I knew something was wrong because that was a negative 24? I mean, that was a positive 24, and there's no way my y-intercept could be 24. So I realized, even though I said negative 8, I plugged a positive 8 in. So this would make my intercept 40, which would make much more sense. So here I get y equals 8x plus 40, negative 8x plus 40. So you have to make sure your slope was negative, and you have to make sure your y-intercept is above 33, because obviously it hasn't crossed yet, and that is 33. Okay, so one line of fit I got was y equals negative 8x plus 40. The other is y equals negative 7.5x plus 42. Anything close to those would be correct.